So normally when fall comes around, I'd expect the market to cool off. I'm not so sure that's going to happen this year. It's Matt here, and this is your October 2020 DFW Real Estate Update. In this update, I want to take a look back at what happened in September and then give some tips for buyers, sellers, and this month investors as we look forward into the future. So when we look back at the month of September 2020, there were 9,236 homes sold. That's a lot of houses to be sold. In fact, it's 16% more than September 2019. So we're still seeing many, many homes being sold across DFW. We're also seeing homes sell very quickly. Days on market has continued to come down. Last month, homes sold on average of 35 days or less. When we look at the price of homes, those remain steady compared to the previous month, but they're up 12% compared to September 2019. And they're all still selling very close to their list price at an average of 97% of the original list price. Let's talk a little bit more about the speed with which homes are selling. I think that surprises a lot of people. The top homes are selling in 4 days or less, and half of all homes are selling in 14 days or less. Of course, that's a broad DFW market. One of the things I want to dive a little deeper on this month, is the days on market. This time I want to look at days on market by price point. I put together this chart for you because I wanted to show that the top 25% of homes are selling quick in all price points. It's not just the low end. And even in all price ranges, homes are selling in less than a week. And I think it surprised me last month to see multiple offers on high-end and luxury homes. Just keep that in mind as you're moving forward as a buyer. So what's driving all this? It's really simple. It's basic economics. It's supply and demand. Right now, there's very low supply and there's a lot of buyer demand out there. That's keeping prices high and it's causing the homes to sell quick like we just discussed. At this moment in time, there are 11,236 homes for sale across DFW. That sounds like a lot of houses, but a moment ago I told you that we sold over 9,000 last month. So what's available today is only 1.2 months of supply, meaning if nobody else listed from today on, all the homes will be gone by Thanksgiving. Now, the reality is the market is dynamic and people are buying and selling all the time. But let's take a look at how this looks in each price point, because I think depending on where a person is shopping or where they're selling, that does affect it. So in this chart right here, I've showed it to you multiple months now, but every month it seems to be changing. And one thing you'll notice is that most people in the left side in the 250 and below and 450 and below, that's the mainstream 80% of our DFW market. Very, very limited amount of homes for sale. And even as you move into the high end, it's still very low inventory. It's not until you get into the luxury that there's a little bit of wiggle room for people. So keep this in mind as you approach their search. It's a very strong seller's market. So what does this mean depending on where you're at in your real estate journey? First, I want to talk about if you're a seller or you're thinking about selling. If you're thinking about selling, all the odds are in your favor. It's definitely a seller's market. Having said that, though, I wouldn't encourage you to be haphazard about your approach to selling your home. We talked in August about negotiability and how the homes that sell quickly tend to sell at or above their list price, and that the buyer negotiability increases as time goes on. Intelligently priced homes are selling very quickly and many times at or above their list price. Now, as a seller, you do still need to prepare your home for sale. I've talked previously about the top 25% of the homes that are selling fast. Well, the bottom ones are not selling very fast and they're not selling for their list price. So have a strategy for selling. That strategy should include how you prepare your home for sale and how you price it. When you see homes going up so quickly, it's easy to get a little greedy on your price. Be smart about your price. Homes that price right sell quickly. Now, I think a lot of people are on the fence this year about selling. They know they want to sell, they maybe want a bigger home, but they're a little reluctant because they see how tight the inventory is and they're not sure about finding their next home while selling the current one. Believe it or not, there are a lot of ways that we can buy your next home before you sell your existing home, and certainly ways to line them up so that you're not homeless for that period of time. I'm also seeing that buyers are pretty motivated and willing to give sellers a longer lease back to give you even more flexibility as you transition into your next home. So definitely if you're on the fence, reach out and we can talk about a strategy that will work for you and meet all your needs. So now let's talk about if you're a buyer. The good news is if you're a buyer right now, interest rates are extremely low. They're historically low and they're probably going to remain low throughout the fall. The fall is also a really great time to shop for homes. It's probably one of my favorites. The temperatures are better, the light is still good, we have a lot of time in the day to be looking. So those things are great for buying a home right now. We did talk about how it's definitely a seller's market. So I want to give you in this video just a little bit of advice on how to approach that. Many people are still buying homes, but they're having a good strategy. And the two pieces of advice I would give a buyer right now are to be decisive and be aggressive. What do I mean when I say that? Well, first of all, be aggressive in how quickly you get out there to see the homes. And if you're actually serious about buying a home, be pre-approved while you're shopping. That way, when we find the home you love, we can talk about the home and the terms of the offer and move forward. Again, since homes are selling very quickly, you probably want to make a decision right away. I'd love to say, hey, let's wait throughout the weekend or wait until Friday and decide. The reality is you probably need to decide in 24 to 48 hours and make an offer. When you make that offer, put your best foot forward first. We're not in a market where a buyer has a lot of leverage, so haggling is just gonna waste time and potentially cost you to lose the home to somebody else. Just like sellers, it's smart to have a plan as a buyer. I really like when my buyers set aside some time with me, 15, 20 minutes at the beginning of their search, where we can make a plan and a strategy and get really clear about what we want. I find that those buyers have a more enjoyable experience and a more successful experience in getting what they want. So this month, I also want to talk about what it might look like if you're looking to invest in real estate. We talked a moment ago about how low the interest rates are. That's attractive for investors to be able to lock in these really great rates. Granted, investors are going to have a slightly higher rate than a person buying their own home. It's still a phenomenal interest rate, way better than they could have got a year or a couple years ago, and potentially way better than they're going to get in the future. Now, I think a downside for investors right now is it's easy to get seduced into a bidding war with a buyer who's buying their dream home. That's really not a great approach. When you think about how you make money as an investor, there are really two ways. There's you make money on your rents every month, and then you make money on appreciation, which you capture that money when you sell the house. First of all, when we look at a property, we really want to look at a property where we can have positive cash flow every month, where the rents are greater than your mortgage payment and your taxes and insurance. A tricky thing right now is that home values are increasing really, really quickly, and rents are moving up very, very slowly. So we're seeing prices go up on homes and rents just kind of creep up. So it's a tricky balancing act that we have to walk as an investor. I would say before you even look at the house, look at the math and make sure the numbers work for you. And then when you look at a house, you might be well served to actually choose homes where you can put a little bit of money in and then get it into a rent-ready, move-in ready condition. So not the top 25% of the houses, but maybe the middle of the market ones. I'm not talking about a full rehab, but just an opportunity for you to increase the value on your own and potentially raise rents. Plus, put yourself in a position where you're not having to bid against retail buyers who are looking for their own house. Again, advice for investors, be smart about your bidding, and I would say be patient. There are plenty of great homes out there for investors. Just be patient and willing to look and kind of mine for those diamonds in the rough. We're just wrapping up this month. Remember, as cliche as it sounds, all real estate is local. I'm telling you about trends in the broader DFW market because the trends do affect everybody. But what's happening in your neighborhood and your community may be a little bit different. And I always love having a conversation with you personally, whether you're looking to buy in a neighborhood or whether you're looking to sell in that neighborhood. It's fun to dig in and really have that personal connection with you. In the meantime, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I want to wish you a very happy and healthy fall. We'll talk to you later. Take care.